Okay, welcome to the part 3. So let's jump straight to the shading. Um, Obviously, I will try to keep it as quick as possible, but still shading of the entire interior in also with talking. We're looking probably at like 90 minutes at least. So before I start shading, I'm gonna show you just one kind of trick many people don't know about, and it's related to the floors created by floor generator. So many people think that they have to use multi-map to correctly map the floor, and when they do, then it causes some problems with distributed rendering and whatnot. So there's kind of better way to do it, and let's just say we have some kind of wood material. So let's just get just some generic wood board, like, I don't know, let's say this, for example. Let's actually turn off the interactive just for this. And when you know, by default, the floor generator will look, default mapping of it will look something like this. It will be like completely weird. It will be basically prepared for texturing with each plank with separate texture. So what you do is you throw just box mapping on it, just quickly rotate it the way the floor goes, like this, collapse it, and then you will just add unwrap UVW modifier on it. You disable the map seams and you select all of the faces. I will disable the highlight. You will go here, hit Ctrl A to select everything. You go to pack UVs and make sure to enable rotate clusters, fill holes. You may decrease the padding and just hit OK. Now you will see you will get something like this. So we will just rotate the UVs, but of course autosave will screw us over first. We will rotate the UVs and then we will just scale them up until we get the structure of the wood looking right. And this way, as you can see, every plank is now mapped separately by one big texture, no kind of multi-map needed. And let's just quickly enable Corona Interactive and decrease temporarily exposure so I can show this too. And often you will want some planks to be varying in color, and that is super easy because it's now textured randomly. So you can just take gradient ramp, for example, get Corona Mix, plug it in the bottom, plug the gradient at the top and set the mode to overlay. Now you will see something crazy like this, so don't worry, just decrease the mix amount, and basically using this you can now define how much color variation will your planks have. So let's say slight variation. If I overdo it, you can see there are sometimes like parts like this one. Actually, let me just load some texture that has gradient already in it, so I can show it a bit more easily. If you see one plank that has the edge of the gradient, then you can go quickly ahead inside of the UVW editor and just quickly fix those. So it's really a matter of just few seconds to fix all of these issues if you have some planks that are on the edge of the gradient. And also you can easily artistically control this. For example, if you wanted to have specifically here dark plank, then you can just move it in the one axis and get the different part of the gradient. So yeah, this is a quick tip to mapping floor generators without any multi-map. Just again, you quickly pack your UVs, then you rotate them. If it's pointing the wrong direction, if it's pointing the right direction, then you don't need to care about it. And once it's packed, you will scale them up to get the structure right size. Okay, so let's get rid of it. Let's apply this back. Let's get back to our camera, exit the isolation. Let's open our render settings and return the exposure to the value which was there before. And let's get started with the shading itself. First thing I will probably do is create just walls material. So that's super easy. Get Corona material, call it wall white. Get bitmap plaster, some plaster texture. This one is painted plaster, just like white. Decrease the filtering. Your image, you can see just white plaster with a little bit of structure. Plug it into diffuse. Now let's quickly check our levels. So if I pick some value out of the texture, you can see it's around 195 to 190 or 193 to 197 on average. So our values are pretty good. It doesn't have albedo that's like extreme. And let's also plug this to the bump map to get just a little bit of bump, which will be seen in a high resolution. Hide the unused slot, put it here. Make sure we have like 1 by 1 by 1 meter, which could be the size, applied to the walls. Yep. We can also check if it maps correctly. I mean, if the size is correct. Looks like it. We have structure that's about the right size. So yeah, that is our wall. Let's put it here. And let's go ahead and do the floor. So, Corona material, or rather the reflective one. Let's call it floor wood. As before, let's get some nice wood texture. Now let's just get this one. Diffuse color, assign it. Obviously, wrong direction, so rotate 90 degrees. The structure is maybe too big, so let's just increase the tiling right here inside of our map. Okay, and one thing I'm going to show you is if you want to have some extra detail in your something extra in your floor material. And just decrease the blurring. I mean, let's just first decrease the glossiness to something reasonable, like this, 0.6, maybe 0.65, just a bit shinier. And instead of mapping glossiness, we are going to map anisotropy in the direction of the wood structure. So we get something a bit more interesting. So let's get output. And let's map just anisotropy with it. By default, you can see it's really extreme, so we need to find the right value for it. And again, the more contrast the incoming map has, the more contrasty is the anisotropic mapping of the floor. So you can see now in this case, we can see the reflection sort of stretches across with the direction of the wood and gives us that nice bit of detail, but the contrast is a bit too much in this case. So I'm gonna just slightly offset it by 0.15. It's gonna throw off the anisotropy first, so you need to compensate for it with the value. Find the right value again. So 1.5. Maybe offset it a little bit more to decrease the contrast even further, and then decrease the value itself. Now it's something nice. So let's get quick render in the production render, because we will have ability to use region. Yeah. And you can see that nice kind of stretching of the highlights along with the direction of the wood structure. So this is a nice extra bit of detail you can do on like hero wood materials. Obviously you can do it on every kind of material, but it takes a little bit longer to set up, so I do it only on the hero materials. And if we turn wood back to 1, we may use it in a bump slot as well, but I will go really easy on a bump because I don't want it to be bumpy very much. Let's go somewhere where we can see how the bump mapping actually looks. Yeah, it's just very subtle, that's what I want. And since we are doing, let's force the update. Since we are doing PBR, then this is all you really need to do to create some nice basic wooden floor material. So yeah, that's it, and we can go ahead and shade something more, some more objects, I mean. So let's get these windows out of the way. Okay, we have the multi-subject material here. Let's create some like anthracite, dark, coated metal material. So let's get this. Let's get, whoops, metal, bare, like this. I'm gonna get really dark diffuse like this, plug it into diffuse. I'm going to get one more output which will go to the reflection glossiness, but first of all let's plug it into ID2, which should be the main ID for the windows. Let's enable the texture to see how it actually maps. Seems to be mapping just fine. Okay, so this will go to the reflection glossiness and maybe increase the contrast a little bit. Yeah, like this. And just increase to like 2.4, so it's a bit more metallic, but it's really like the dark quenched metal look. And again, let's wait for the autosave a bit. There we go. Now we have this nice dark metallic look. And let's say the metals will be, okay, so here's wood, here will be metals will be down here, for example. And let's just quickly check what's the, okay, so that's like the interior frame, which is usually some aluminum. So again, okay, let's map this. Let's make this metal, dark, anthracite, and let's call this aluminium textured, because we'll texture it. So yeah, let's say 15. And again, just some metal texture. Oh, let's use the same one. It's not a big deal really. Again, increase the contrast. I haven't even plugged it in yet, but I already know we will need to increase it. This goes to reflection glossiness. And keep increasing it until we see something like aluminum, like this. Actually, let's make it even more shiny aluminum. Hide the unused slot, put it back to the metals. Okay, so let's sort this now. Okay, and this will be ID free, so let's put it here. Okay, so now this is our clay. Let's put it aside. Glass will be here. And this kind of concludes we can see here the nice reflection going on here, going on in there. Actually, let's make it a bit more rough. The value of 3 was probably appropriate. Okay, windows are resolved, so let's just get rid of this. It will stay in the scene, but we want to have our view clean. Okay, windows shaded. What else? Is there anything we could use straight away? Some of the materials we have created for? I don't think so. Oh, look, there's a lamp. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so let's quickly check how many subobject materials it has. So 1, which is back inside of 3ds Max, where the instances often shade wrong faces when you select some of the when you don't select the initial instance. So 1 is gonna be glass, 2 is gonna be copper, probably. Yeah, I think this was copper. Not sure. What is 3? Okay, 3 is the cable, and that's it. Okay, so let's make this the interior copper. Let's make this glass, and this is gonna be some generic rubber or plastic. So Pendant lamps, it has 3 IDs. Select all the instances, assign it. The first one was glass, we already know it. The second one was copper or brass, let's call it. Copper, shiny, textured, 0 diffuse. Let's use, it always drags me back to that nice high resolution texture, but let's just use something different this time. Copper's gonna be like, let's say 10. Keep everything else the same. Put it into glossiness. Decrease the contrast here actually. You want it less contrasty. Way less contrasty actually. That is too much without contrast. 0.6 seems fine. Yeah, that's actually nice. So now just give a reflection some nice copper color like this. Actually, let's get a bit more of the contrast in, like this. Okay, even more shiny. It's all about just tweaking, basically. This will go to 2. Let's see how it looks in our scene. Yep, nice sort of copper material. Shiny, not too shiny. Actually, let's make it even more shiny. We can afford to do it. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So okay. We wanted some rubber, or yeah, let's make dark rubber. So just simple one without subsurface scattering for now, which is again super easy. So just some really dark color, 1.55, and scratches, stains. Get this one, 0.25, reflection glossiness. That's it, really. For some extra detail, let's plug in also in a bump, but let's not make it nearly as bumpy. There we go. And maybe let's keep it 12. Okay. Plug this here. We will see almost nothing because it's just thin wire, but I'm doing this because we could take advantage of this material later on. Okay, so these are done. Get rid of this. Now this is metal, so it will go back to the metals. This is plastic, which will go here. Glass will go here. I'm kind of visually just keeping the groups of materials separate based on the material type. Okay, what else is here? Let's get over with this table. Okay, I keep isolating and just realizing the exposure there is completely crazy, so let's do it inside of the... Oh, that's way too much. Inside of the interior. Let's make some like stainless steel legs, maybe just stainless steel this part, which should be separate ID. Yes, it is. And wooden board should be the table board itself. So for that, I'm just gonna grab another reflective corner material, steel, stainless, bitmap. There's scratches, some scratches and stains. That should do it. I want it to be nice dark material, so just 6 is usually in PBR. You should do metals in different way. You should kind of keep this at maximum and just play with this. But I'm just using Fresnel IOR, so you can copy me. You don't need to, but it's just my preferred workflow. The using higher lower Fresnel will kind of introduce a slight variation between reflectivity on different angles, whereas using this autosave. Let's just quickly wait for the autosave. Come on, come on, come on, there we go. Using just maximum Fresnel and this, you will get a bit less variation across the angles, but I don't really care. I don't think it's even that noticeable. So yeah, let's set it back to 6 and map the glossiness, because that's all it really takes. go here, decrease the contrast just slightly, and start. Pulling it. Down. Like this. What did I name? I named rubber. Oh, damn. Okay, so this was rubber dark with capital D. And this is going to be steel, stainless, textured with non-capital E. That's better. Hide unused slot. It's H key in case you want to know. So this is ID1. Therefore, let's get this table, just two materials. This one is gonna be the first one. Assign it. Quickly check how it maps. Seems to be mapping. Actually, let's increase the tiling, at least this big. Now we should have some like smudgy detail. I'm not sure that is often desired for architectural visualization, but I mean, you can always find a compromise of just, you know, if this was visualization and client just said, I don't want this to be dirty. There's always good to have at least some detail, just the detail doesn't have to be so obvious. So I'm gonna decrease the contrast a lot. And just keep decreasing this. Like this. And just go to production quickly so we can do region. Yeah. And you can see there are still hints of some imperfections. And they will still give realism to your scenes, but it shouldn't be too much for clients to complain. So that's just one approach to go about it. Just keep it there, but make it so subtle that the trained eye will see it, but the client won't like get impression it's completely dirty. Enable interactive back, and just get another generic wood material going. For this one, I won't be even doing the anisotropy thing. Oh, these are wooden floors. Oh, just damn fine. This one. Okay. What would be the nice wooden material to use for the table? Fine bright, that looks nice. Maybe a bit too saturated for my taste. So let's make it a bit more washed out, just slightly like this. At the same time, let's make it darker. Yeah, okay. Plug this into diffuse. Reflection to 1. PBR shading is really easy. 1.6. We want to see coating a bit more here. And let's get output. And plug it into reflection glossiness. And that's really it. Depending on how much of the structure of the wood I want to propagate in on coating, I can increase or decrease the contrast of the glossiness map. So if I want more, I can just do this, and now I have a bit more of the coating propagated, of the wood structure propagated on coating. So let's call this wood, bright, simple. Let's plug this in the table, see how it maps. It's wrong way, so rotate it 90 degrees. Let's take a look. And we have some nice wooden table material. Okay, so just clean all of these up, get rid of table since this is done. Wood goes here where all the wooden material is, plaster will go here, metal will go here, and we can proceed to shade. Next one, let's do this chair. We already have materials. Actually, let's just, so it's quicker. -1, oh, -2, -2, okay, so we need to remember 0.35. Okay, so what IDs do we have here? Actually, I will use this time to save myself the scene because we are working for quite a while and I have this obsession of just hitting the save key all the time. Okay, so this one is ID1 is metal, ID2 is plastic, white plastic, ID3 are legs. So again, white plastic is one we don't have. Wood, we can use this bright wood. Metal, we can use this stainless metal. So again, material ID2 is the only one we don't have. So chairs have 3 IDs. ID1 is stainless steel. Was that it? No, it wasn't. I haven't assigned it yet. ID3 was the wood bright, and all we really need to do is to pray that it's mapped in the right direction, which it is. Awesome. So we have the wood. It looks a bit washed out under the exterior environment, but it will look just fine in the interior. So all we really need to do is white plastic, which we will do along with subsurface scattering, just because I want to show it off. So plastic, white, subsurface scattering. White is gonna be around 190. Plug it in, see how it looks. It's very white, so just go to render settings, decrease the exposure temporarily, a bit more. And again, one reflection, 1.45 for the plastic, and it's going to be rough plastic, so like 0.6, 0.6, judging by the highlight maybe 0.65. Okay, turn off the opacity, go to advanced options, volumetric absorption and scattering, and just define the density of our subsurface scattering. This may be a bit too dense. Let's try 2 millimeters. Oh, that's a bit too shallow. So 1 millimeter. Okay, enable scattering. Single bounce only is great because it's a lot faster. The drawback is it doesn't work for it doesn't work for too bright materials because you lose way too much brightness even if you are using complete white, but maybe it could work for the white. So let's see. Actually, let's not. Let's use 200 and not single bounce only. Okay, so we have subsurface scattering. We can see how it scatters through. Maybe actually just 0.15, make it a bit more shiny through it. Let's increase the opacity back to 1. So now we have none. And let's start playing with the translucency. So fraction of 0.5. And we can see the nice translucency. Okay, So we go back to point 35 and we go back inside of our interior. And let's just check this chair, for example, if it's visible. Well, not much, but there's something shining through. It will be probably visible on the final render once it's clean up. If I, for example, just take this chair and temporarily put it here, right under the sun, if there was sunlight hitting the chair, we would probably see a light bleeding through it, through the edges. No, we wouldn't, because obviously I'm looking at a chair that's not even material yet. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Okay, which one is it? This one. Select all the instances, assign the material again. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so is it visible now? Yep, slightly. We have that light shining through the thin plastic, the thin parts of the plastic. And now if I put it under the sun, we should finally see something. Yep, I guess. You know what, actually? Let's do a sharp sun here. I've accomplished the mission of showing you how to make HDRIs out of non-HDR images. But let's just turn this off. And let's just create Corona Sun. And center this. And get our sun. Take this. Move it somewhere to the more convenient location. Okay, here we go. Okay. And move the sun to be right in the center. Get out of there. Get inside our scene. Now it's pretty damn sunny. So let's decrease the intensity, because obviously our sky is not in physical scale. Okay, great. And now we should see our subsurface scattering actually somewhat doing something, hopefully. It's too bright to notice, but it will be nice little detail that we see. In the final image. Okay, so that was the chairs. So we have chairs, we have table, we have fruit in a bowl. So the bowl will be just some tinted green glass, which is again glass green, which I've duplicated from my original glass. Throw it onto the bowl. We can enable caustic because the because it's small object. You know what? I actually have a hunch that to speed up our rendering just a little bit, we could delete this and delete these, then pick this material, which thrown off our materials. I will have to sort them again. But anyway, let's get glass, thin, make it thin, use just thin glass instead of thick. It could make stuff ever so slightly faster. There's some weirdness going on in the recent Corona version where the glass without caustics that's not thin can actually slow down things. I'm just maybe suspicious it could be this case as well. So we have these glass materials. The metals will go back to where metals belong, so here. Let's just quickly sort the nodes. This is metal 2, so it will go to metals as well. This is plastic, which is not resolved yet, so great. Let's go back. Okay. So chairs are done, so let's get rid of this, minimize this material, put it where the plastic materials is, so right next to the rubber. Glass thin, glass, and glass green. Okay. Let's go back to our bowl. And let's make it green. So volumetric absorptions and scattering. Let's try 1 centimeter right off the bat. And tint absorption to some nice green color. And wait for the autosave. Okay, that looks actually pretty. So let's go with this. Simple green glass, no hassle. And let's take all of these fruits, isolate this, go back to our render settings, and let's set up subsurface scattering quickly for them. Do they have... Oh my god, it's actually separate. That's gonna be a lot of unnecessary messing around. And this is separate. Okay, so let's just... Here's a pair. Let's do that. Pair. Does it have instances? It does, but I need to... Oh, it's not even instanced. Okay, anyway, pair. Let's go to the food, I guess. Pair, okay. Plug it into diffuse, this is way too bright. So just fix this real quick. That is more reasonable. We have nice shiny pair like made of glass, which we don't want obviously. So let's get output. Map the glossiness. Usually models have, like professional models have glossiness maps specifically made, but when I don't have one, I just make it out of the diffuse. There's usually some correlation between diffuse color and reflectivity. Okay, that is some nice reflective variance. Maybe increase the contrast slightly. Make it also bumpy. Okay, now the inside of the pear is like yellowy kind of bright color. So let's get just a little bit of the yellow in the translucency color. Now let's get this, let's get output, make it a bit more washed out. And let's plug in the scatter color. Opacity goes to 0. And now we can set density of our pair. Okay, so like this, maybe a bit more subsurface scattering. Let's see how much is it. Oh, we can afford maybe half a centimeter actually. Yep, great. So opacity back to 1 and introduce some of that subsurface scattering. And yeah, let's maybe generally make this all a bit brighter, but again, compensate for the glossiness because we derive it from our diffuse map. So that is a nice pair with subsurface scattering, but we do not see the sunlight because by default, for some reason, Corona doesn't render hidden lights, which we have to turn on. Now you can see this is how the pair looks. This is how it looks without subsurface scattering. This is if it was completely subsurface scattering. So let's do like 0.65 maybe. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay. So this is gonna be our pair of pairs. And let's make apple. Apples, which will be just replacing the texture with, let's say, red apples. Apple, apple, apple. This is apple. This is apple. This one as well. Okay. If I just slap it on straight away, let's see how it looks. And actually it doesn't look bad, just glossiness. So, for that, oh, I'm doing complete nonsense here. There we go. Does it look like apple? Well, it could certainly use a bit more variation inside of glossiness. Yeah. That may be a bit too much, but then again doesn't look that bad. I guess for the purpose of the tutorial I can't be so picky, so let's just keep them like this. And there are some oranges as well. So orange. Again, take this, orange, 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 slap it on top, and again, play with the glossiness here. They don't have too much contrast in the glossiness. Okay, so like this, but obviously with some sort of bump map. Let's get cellular, which is kind of representative of the structure of oranges. You place the bump. And let's see how it looks. For some reason, I cannot see much of the... Oh, there we go, that's better. and maybe 2.5. Yeah, that looks like an orange. Okay. So now there's like this stalk or whatever that is, and this twig sticking out. So let's put this aside. Let's create some like just generic green material. Also translucent a bit. And let's take all these little things Man, this tutorial is gonna be long. Okay, I think I got them all. So let's assign that. And for the stalks, let's just, or twigs, twig, fruits. Let's get something wooden, like, I don't know, plants. Do we have plants here? Plants, okay. Something like this, like bark texture, goes into diffuse, into reflection glossiness as well. Reflectivity at 1, and goes into the bump. Let's put it next to the fruits, and let's pick all of these assign this. Oh, we've missed this thing right here, and right here. I guess that should be all. Okay, how does it look? Yeah, that looks like some fruit. Open render settings, and let's quickly get our exposure back to where it belongs. And we have some nice bowl of fruit. Yeah, I think that autosave, so let's again wait for it. I think that all I really see is that our diffuse color of the oranges could be just slightly brighter, like this. But again, they are shadowed by the green light, or the green shadow of the bowl, so not a big deal there. Okay, so this is what we have. Let's also look around for the next subject, curtains. Let's do them. Okay, so curtains, some simple basic curtains. Nothing too fancy. Will be again PBR means 1 reflection, but just really low glossiness for curtains like 0.3. And fabric. White fabric, which goes to the diffuse slot, to the translucency color slot, and to the translucency fraction slot as well. But for that we want multiplier because we want to control it. Let's decrease the filtering, and let's throw it into bump as well, but don't make it, let's not make it nearly as bumpy. This is curtain, this is curtain. Let's throw the material on them, let's see how it maps. way too big structure, so let's go like 3 by 3, that's more reasonable. And let's see how would the curtain look if we moved it against the sun. Yeah, it's a bit translucent. Yeah, I think that's actually about right. Let's put it back there. And that's it. That's for the curtains, really. These spotlights. Okay. So one ID is the reflector, ID 2 is the like dark plastic stripe, ID 3 is the... What was that? Is this the... Oh, that's probably the bug again. So I have to go here, find the very first instance of the light, and then I can inspect it better. Okay, so select ID1, that's the reflector, ID2 is the black plastic, ID3 is... Oh, so ID3, that's the glass, okay. ID4 and ID5, ID5 is the bulb. So what was again, ID3 is the glass, let's make the bulb glass because we won't be lighting those up at the moment. So spotlights, and so 3 and 5 is glass. Okay, so first of all, let's just get all of them out there and assign this to all of them. So 3 and a 5 is glass. Awesome. 1 was the reflector, or what was the reflector again? 1 was the reflector, which is usually some like optical chrome. So let's just chrome optical, which is just like perfect mirror, more or less. There we go. The reflects, it looks weird because it reflects only the grass. 2 was the, what was again 2? Was the, now the bug shows up, great. So what was the first one? 12, this one. And select ID2 was the, oh, was the dark stripe. So for that, let's use that rubber we already have. And the 4 is gonna be white plastic. We do have white plastic, we have one with subsurface scattering. This one is gonna be simple and a bit more shiny. So plastic, white, shiny, simple, which is super simple. Just that's it, really. Just a little bit of glossiness, full reflection 1.5, that's our plastic. Oh, actually we want some simple plastic for the what? Oh, that's a gap between. Okay, never mind then. Okay. So those are our spotlights, and let's take a look at them inside of the interior. Let's take a look at this one. Yep, that does look like a nice simple spotlight. So I guess mission accomplished. Okay, save this just so we don't lose our progress. And it seems that we are already 1 hour in, so you know what, let's make this a 6-part tutorial. This is unscripted, so I am making the decision just now. I will cut this off here, and I'll see you in the next part, where I will be a little bit faster and try to finish entire rest of the interior in another hour. So see you then.